What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another RotoQL PGA Play of the Day video. Yesterday, we took a look at some of the top cash game plays for the Open Championship. Today, we're going to look at some of the pivot plays that you can look at in all price tiers. So to do that, we're going to take a look at the Trending Players tool, sort by salary here. As you can see, it looks like Dustin Johnson, Justin Rose, Justin Thomas, and Ricky Fowler are going to be the highest owned players kind of in this 95 and above price range. It's kind of leaving Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, and Jon Rahm as your pivot options. Of the three, I'm going with Rory McIlroy all the way here. Jordan Spieth, his game is kind of all over the place right now. You can't feel good about his form coming in this week. Jon Rahm, I don't think his game sets up well for Carnousties layout. I think a lot of the reasoning around Rory kind of being a low-owned pivot play is that he can't perform well on some of these more difficult tracks. But I just think that's kind of going to be thrown out the window this week at Carnoustie. We could see conditions play a little bit easier, especially if the greens are receptive like they say they are going to be. The rough doesn't look too bad, so I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody score, 10, 11, 12 under to win this thing, and that can definitely be Rory. So at the top end, I'm going to be all over Rory McIlroy as a pivot. Moving down to kind of this mid-range here, there's a lot of really good plays in this high 8,000 all the way down to Mark Leishman at 8,000 price tier here. I think the guy I'm looking to, especially in tournaments, is going right back to Hideki Matsuyama. If you look at some of the players around him, you have to think that Paul Casey, Molinari, Alexander Noren, Henrik Stenson, all these guys are going to be really popular plays. But if you're looking for a pivot, I think you're going to be able to get Hideki, around 10% ownership. And that's just too low for a guy who really brings his A game to majors. His form has kind of come back to him, 3 straight top 16 finishes. Last time out of the U.S. Open, played pretty well into the weekend, played well last time out at the Scottish Open. So I really like Hideki here at 8,500. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the low $7,000 range. As you can see, some of the chalk guys here are going to be Tony Finau, Zach Johnson, even looks like Webb Simpson is creeping up in there a little bit. But a guy I like, and it's definitely risky, tournament only, is old man Lee Westwood. This is a guy who has come close many times at the Open Championship before, has 4 career top 5 finishes, and we've just seen older guys compete at these link-style layouts. I think if the conditions are tough, an old veteran like Lee Westwood could sneak his way in there, playing pretty well, top 35 finishes the last 2 weeks on link-style layouts. It's certainly risky, but you're going to be able to get him probably 2-3% owned in this price tier. In cash games I went over yesterday, you definitely want to play Zach Johnson or Tony Finau, who are way too cheap here. But for a guy to pivot off on this range, I really like Lee Westwood. So to sum it all up, we're going with Rory McIlroy, Hideki Matsuyama, and Lee Westwood as the top GPP pivots this week for the RotoQL PGA Play of the Day for the Open Championship.